against the Jacksonville Jaguars here in Week 13. The Rams and the Jacksonville Jags from Inglewood. Hope you're having a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for spending part of it with us. JB along with Maurice Jones-Drew and DeMarco Farr, my radio broadcast team. Jags and Rams, this is the Maurice Jones-Drew Bowl.
Yeah, I'm torn, JB. It's kind of like we have two kids. One goes to one college, one goes to the other, and they both play. Someone's going to lose, someone's going to win. Who do I console? Who do I cheer for? I know where I'm going, though.
This is your Rams pregame show. So glad to be back with you here at SoFi Stadium to start a new month and the stretch run for your Los Angeles Rams. And since we've last been here, they've added a couple of pieces. This will be the home debut, DeMarco, for Von Miller and OBJ. What impact do you expect them to have?
Wow. On the defensive side, Von Miller, I hope that the Rams offense does their job, meaning not turn the ball over, and make this a more traditional football game, meaning that it's 0-0, or the Rams might have the advantage in scoring so that Von Miller can do what he does best, get after quarterbacks, rush the passer. It was fun seeing him on the field in Green Bay, but it wasn't fun seeing him play the run 60-70% of the time. I want to see him rush the passer, so hopefully we'll get to see that, and hopefully SoFi brings the noise. The more noise you bring, the better they rush, and the better Aaron Donald's going to be, so I hope I get to see that. From the other side, I think we saw what Odell Beckham Jr. can do. Yes. He can get down the field versus anybody, so you've got a quarterback that can get him the football, you've got an outside linebacker that can rush the passer. Let's hope you can kind of cure this turnover virus and then get after quarterbacks.
Well, here's another. It's been too long since the Rams had the lead. 3-0 here against the Tennessee Titans. They were 7-1 then. Now they are 7-4. Maurice, you said earlier this week that it's not just important for the Rams to win this game. That's a top priority, of course. But how they win it. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think, each game presents a different challenge. And the Rams have struggled with physical play, right? If you look at the Tennessee Titans, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers, they were all physical. They ran the ball. Well, guess what? You have another opponent here that wants to be physical offensively and defensively. How can you run the ball against a physical front? And then how can you stop the run and earn the right to throw the ball or underwrite the rest of the passers? So for me, it's, look, each week is a different challenge. Here's another challenge to right all your wrongs. How do you win this game? Do you win this game by dominating the offensive line on both sides, right? As a defensive line and as an offensive line dominating the opposite? Or do you win by, gimmick plays, right? Things that we know that it won't last, if that makes sense. So
no doubt.
For me, can you run the ball? Can you protect your quarterback? And can you get after the opposing quarterback? That's what you want to do.
So kind of a last chance to set your identity for the stretch run and the postseason. DeMarco, let's go to the quarterback position. We all know that Matthew Stafford has been turning the ball over of late. In fact, he's given defenses the opportunity to score touchdowns in the last 3 games, all losses for the Rams. Sean McVay says they evaluate the quarterback position in terms of decision-making, timing, and accuracy. Looks like room for improvement in all of those areas today against the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah. No one's immune from getting better. This is what the NFL is about. It's the ongoing skill development league, and that applies to Matthew Stafford. He has got to be better. The thing that I like about him is you don't have to tell him. He knows. He doesn't want to throw pick sixes. He doesn't want to throw interceptions, and he knows he has to get better. But everyone has to be better. You have to be better running the football. You have to be better pass protection. You have to be better on defense. Even if you go on the field, short fields on defense, you have to get out with field goals or better than that. Aaron Donald said it best. It doesn't matter how you get out there. It just matters how you get off the field. But everyone needs to improve on this football team. But start with the quarterback. Start with not throwing pick sixes or interceptions. And like you said, if you have to punt, then so be it. Johnny Hekker can punt the you-know-what out of the football. So if it becomes a field position battle, I feel confident in the Rams winning that style of football game. But if Matt Stafford looks like the first 5 weeks, I will definitely take that. Everyone else will too.
As we speak to you, the inactives are yet to come out for either the Jags or the Rams, but it is our expectation that there'll be an opportunity for Sony Michel to take over the lead role in the Rams backfield today with Darrell Henderson nursing an ongoing injury. So back to the point about identity. What can Sony Michel offer these Rams as they look to establish the run?
Well, you heard so much of C.J. Anderson, right? And I think Sean McVay talked about seeing that type of running game. When C.J. Anderson came, I was a little upset because I was in the booth with you. You could have called me. But that didn't happen.
Back in 2018, and even younger MJD.
Yeah, even younger. But this is the thing. C.J. Anderson brought a physicalness to this offense, a physicality that, like, he was breaking tackles and he was wearing the defense down, and it opened up the play-action pass, and it was a different type of running scheme. It wasn't the outside zone that they ran. They ran more downhill, A-gap to A-gap. I expect to see that. Now, this is the thing. We talk about matching the physicalness or being the physicality of the defense or whatever it might be. The Jacksonville Jaguars are pretty stout up front. They're a tough group to move off the ball. So that's going to tell me a lot about how this offensive line is working, how they're doing. And yes, the Jags aren't the best team, but they have players that can make plays. And so I want to see them run the ball. I want to see Sony Michel convert on 3rd and short, 4th and short. I want to see him break tackles and get to hard 4 so that you can open up the play action pass and do all the explosive things that we saw the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, Sony perhaps not as explosive as Darrell on the ground game, but he is known for leveling off those runs and finishing forward to perhaps get or keep the Rams on schedule offensively. And then the question this week, I think, becomes who else is going to contribute for the Rams on both sides of the football, on all 3 phases, really. But one name to keep an eye on might be Ben Skoranek, because this is the first time that Odell Beckham Jr. has been up to speed. They've kind of recovered or at least gathered themselves following the injury to Robert Woods, which ends his season. And now Ben Skoranek is back from 1 week absence due to a back injury. How does the receiver rotation look? How does the tight end rotation look, for that matter, behind their proven tight end, Tyler Higbee? All right, let's go to the defense now. And in some ways, this is a tailor-made matchup for the Rams because the Jacksonville Jaguars are the lowest scoring team in the NFL since Week 7. DeMarco, what fine-tuning are you looking for from Raheem Morris and company as they get set for a stretch run?
You know, tackling is always going to be an issue. I think today is going to be paramount because, like I said, Trevor Lawrence, they're not going to stand there and let him take a pounding against this defense, especially if it's loud, and Von Miller and Aaron Donald are doing what they do best. So that ball's going to come out quick, especially to the perimeter. So Darius Williams, Jalen Ramsey, Fuller, Taylor Rapp, being able to tackle one-on-one, getting guys to the ground, like you said, that's an extension of the run game. Set up the 3rd and longs, and then rush the passer, get off the football field. But I think that's going to be most important. Tackling. And not, you just can't have guys fall forward for extra yards.
Right.
You have to hit and drop those guys, set up those 2nd and 3rd longs, and then get after Trevor Lawrence.
I was going to say this. I think the overall deal today is complementary football. That's all it is. Can you play the field position if you need to? Can you score points? Can the defense get stops? Can, if you have to punt, can you pin them? And when you get a return, can you not turn the ball over?
Right.
Simple as day. You don't have to be superstars today, even though you have so many here. You just got to play complementary football.
Can I make one more point?
Yes.
Get a pat on Miles Jack.
Oh, my God.
If you want to really score, avoid number 44.
You know what school he went to, right?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised you hadn't brought him up yet.
I wasn't. I don't want to jinx it. He went to UCLA. And they practice there. So it's a little, it's like,
He'll make every play if you let him. Yeah.
As for the Jags offense, Trevor Lawrence has been at his best when he's been able to tap into some of that college-style RPO. He found Tavon Austin, a former Ram, for a receiving touchdown last week in their most recent loss. James Robinson, also a question mark in their backfield. Let's assume for the moment that he's able to go, Maurice. What challenge does he present to this LA defense?
You talk about tackling. DeMarco talks about tackling. Imagine tackling a guy that has a lower body that's pretty stout, a guy that runs violently, that can catch the ball out of the backfield, that they want to get him in space. But not only he can run in between the tackles outside, and you know what? At the end of the day, he's the heart and soul of this whole team. If he gets going, they have a chance to win. If he doesn't get going, they're kind of done. So they're going to feed him the ball a ton. I was actually talking with some of the personnel people upstairs when we were hanging out, and they're concerned because the Jags haven't been running him enough. And so expect today, like any time the Rams play someone, a big dosage, a heavy dosage of running the ball.
Speaking of heart and soul, since October 2019 when Jalen Ramsey came over from Jacksonville to join this Rams organization, he has become, I think, an on- and off-field leader. Now he gets to face the team that drafted him in the first round for the first time in his career. I don't want you to have to grade the trade necessarily, DeMarco, because I know that you're going to give it an A, but in terms of the picks that you offered and then the contract extension given subsequently, it seems like Jalen has been everything the Rams could have hoped for and more.
I'll say what I said back then. He's worth every penny and more. I mean, he's been tremendous. I think he's grown up since he came out to L.A. He's grown into a leader. He can play pretty much every position in the secondary and plus some outside linebacker spots. At times, he's your best run defender. Most of the time, he's your best pass defender. So he's a tremendous asset for this football team. I think he's been great. And I don't believe him I don't believe him at all when he says this is just another game.
Oh,
I think he said that for the media. I think this is going to be big for him.
I'm going to tell you why it's just another game.
Yeah.
Because that whole regime that he was there, they're all gone. There's no one there. Like it's part of that. They've had so much turnover in Jacksonville that the people are back from when I was there.
Wow.
Right? So that's it's just been a lot. But I understand. I would say this, and I love that question. I think Jalen has been. I think they got a deal. I think they got one of those rolling back deals.
Big time.
Like that wasn't enough that they gave the Jaguars for what he's been able to do here.
They owe him a few more?
Oh, they should have gave him a couple more.
Sorry, ain't going to happen.
I know, but they should have.
How about this? We've been talking for most of the last few weeks about what's the proper matchup for Jalen Ramsey against the likes of San Francisco or Green Bay. How much can you get him on Davante Adams? Is there a real obvious matchup for him today?
Yeah, wherever you want to play him. Yeah, I mean, sometimes Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones is a very, very capable wide. He's not a Davante Adams or Deebo Samuel, but he makes plays. He makes tough catches. But I also think you should blitz him. I think you should put him in the slot and blitz him and try to confuse and let him get pressure on the quarterback. He's one of your best blitzers on your defense. So you can move him around in certain situations. Maybe second and long, he plays the nickel. Third and long, we put you on Marvin Jones. Force him to go somewhere else.
All right, MJD, right back to you as we wrap up this Rams pregame show with players to watch in this matchup in Week 13, Jags and Rams. Who do you have your eye on?
To me, it's going to be the offensive line, the interior offensive line. I think Brian Allen, Austin Corbett, David Edwards, those guys have to step up and play huge. They've been getting a lot of push in the passing game. I was watching some of the shows and breaking down some of the film. They've been giving up about 5 yards from the snap, getting pushed. You can't have that today. You can't. And once you show that on film, you know people are going to take advantage of it. You have to be able to keep that, especially with Stafford. He's not the most mobile guy, so you got to be able to hold that pocket so he can step up and make throws.
DeMarco, player to watch?
Obvious passing situations for the Rams defense, Troy Reeder, for obvious reasons. Every single quarterback is coming after him in the passing game, so he's got to step it up. He's got to get closer to his coverage assignments and, like we said, bring guys down on first contact.
I'll go with Sony Michel, but my answer is really, I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I can't wait to see. How about whoever returns kicks or punts?
Punts.
Yeah. I don't know who that player is going to be, but that's what I'm going to be watching. How about someone like Terrell Burgess or Bryson Hopkins or someone we haven't talked a lot about since training camp, stepping up for this stretch run to give the Rams a little bit of depth on their 53 and active game day roster. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Rams pregame show. Kickoff today is at 1:05 on Fox, just after the 1 o'clock hour on Fox here Pacific time. You can also listen to us on 710 ESPN or Jack FM 93.1. For DeMarco Farr, for Jacksonville and LA's own Maurice Jones-Drew, I'm JB Long. Enjoy the game, everyone. Rams looking to get back in the winning column against the Jaguars here at SoFi Stadium.